Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Two Chicks, Three Seats. First, we just want to say thank you so much to everyone who attended event camp at the end of last month. We had so much fun seeing so many of our customers in person for the first time in a long time and virtually for those that tuned in just online. Many customers at event camp told us that they just heard about our podcast for the first time at event camp. So if you're one of those people here today, welcome aboard to Two Chicks, Three Seats. We're happy you're here. And for this episode, we're going to be talking about some trending news stories in the industry that we read all about so that you don't have to. So you can just listen to us talk about them instead and hear our thoughts. It's great that way. So enjoy this episode. And Kate, you want to kick us off?
I do. I'm going to kick you off with a good one. So Danny Meyer, who is one of my favorite restaurateurs, if not my favorite, and the mastermind behind Shake Shack and, of course, Union Square Hospitality Group, just announced that he's investing, or his brand is investing, in Panera Brands. So he'll sit on the board of Panera Brands, and he hopes by doing this, he'll be able to help the brand go public and also help them apply his enlightened hospitality philosophy. So for those of you that don't know, Danny Meyer's enlightened hospitality philosophy is to take care of the customer, but to do so in such a way that you create an experience in the customer's life. So of course, hospitality is to Danny Meyer and to many hospitality professionals, making sure you provide service in a way that makes the customer feel great about doing business with you. I think it's such an interesting way to look at hospitality. And it's definitely a philosophy I tried to live by when I worked in restaurants. And honestly, I still sort of live by it today in my work at Triple Seat and even in just like my life in general. So I do think that bringing this philosophy to like such an iconic brand like Panera will only make the brand more iconic and more likable. I don't really think it could do any harm. That's for sure.
Right.
So he's obviously no stranger to fast casual. I mean, he started Shake Shack, which is a brand that I've never met anyone who doesn't like. Rachel, do you like Shake Shack?
Of course I like Shake Shack.
I mean, I feel like every time we have an event somewhere with a Shake Shack next to it, we eat Shake Shack, or at least we used to at party people events and stuff. We haven't really done one in a while, but I love Shake Shack, and I don't know. If you don't like it, it's weird.
Shake Shack in the Seaport. Shake Shack in the Seaport. That's the one that I like.
Yeah, it is the best. I think it's the best one around here, I feel like. But Myers has always worked to put his employees first and to foster work environments where employees are genuinely happy to be in, which is huge in this industry. So work environments that are not only clean and safe, but fulfilling. And I guess maybe it's more difficult to successfully build these environments when we're talking about like a fast casual brand like Panera with over 2,000 locations. But I do think if anyone can do it, it's certainly Danny Meyer. So obviously, I'll continue to follow this story. And I'm sure we'll provide updates on future episodes because I think this is a really important one and a really interesting one. And that's it.
I think it's really interesting, like having such a big name as Danny Meyer coming into Panera. And I don't know, I haven't been to a Panera in a while. It feels like, so maybe this is going to be bringing back Panera to a lot of us.
I agree. And I do like, I normally like the food at Panera. Like, I don't eat there really ever, but their breakfast sandwiches are really good. But also back in the day, I was a huge fan of the broccoli and cheddar soup. I feel like it's
of course
one of the most indulgent, amazing things ever, but it's so fattening. It's okay. It's okay though. But yeah, I think that, I think it'll be interesting to see. I don't know. Like, I don't think really the quality of the food needs to change. I just think, maybe there's some room to enhance like the working environments and employee benefits and things like that, things that Danny Meyer is known for. So we'll see.
Right. I agree. I remember when I used to go to Panera in college, it was like the hot spot for studying too. So I wonder if that's going to be part of it, bringing in the workspace element, like the values of WeWork or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. You never know. That's a good point.
Okay, so the next article that we read about is called "Restaurant Work Can Destroy Your Body, but It Doesn't Have to." And this is an Eater article that came out recently that Kate and I both found very interesting. So it starts off by talking about this new luxury restaurant hoping to open in New York City called Hags, Hags, which they're trying to make, interesting. I'm not sure exactly what it stands for, but there was like this Eater article that talks about this, this article I'm discussing talks about this in the intro. And it basically is saying how this restaurant that's trying to open has been saying they're going a very different approach. It's trying to be a really inclusive restaurant, but then also very small, like 20 seating at most. So they're really trying to get to know the employees, get to know the customers on an every night basis. But one of the things that they talked about when in their opening was that they're going to be taking good care of their staff. So don't be alarmed if you see staff sitting down. They believe that like little has been done to humanize restaurant workers sometimes, and that sometimes, we know everything about the restaurant industry and how workers are sometimes treated. And so this is one of their values in this restaurant that they're trying to instill from the very beginning, is that the restaurant workers are just as important as the customers in opening and the operations of the restaurant. So that's just how the article set the tone for the rest of the messaging in the article, which is talking about working in the restaurant industry. So well, as we all know, like the article mentions how harsh conditions of the restaurant work have been inevitable and spoken about, and sometimes have even been proud to endure if you're able to, like toughen it out, being on your feet all night, carrying heavy plates, sipping between tables, being in hot kitchens, sometimes taking customer abuse. And obviously, I'm not going to beat the dead horse here. We've talked about how the pandemic has brought to light so many different issues, and restaurants have been called to improve worker pay, provide other benefits like health insurance, childcare, sick leave. But I thought what this article talks about, which was interesting and I hadn't really heard about before, is how operators of restaurants are kind of rethinking the very physical nature of working in a restaurant, and how they can like alternate this and make edits to this and change the norms in the way restaurants operate, in order to maybe get rid of burnout and make it not as bad, by implementing new technology, upgrading some of their spaces, and redesigning how work in the restaurant happens. So it uses this example for fast casual restaurants. So it talks about Panda Restaurant Group, which has Panda Express. And these are examples that I feel like maybe it's fast casual. Maybe our listeners are not fast casual, but I think the messaging can apply to everyone. So Panda Restaurant Group has been upgrading and automating kitchen equipment to make things easier on employees and more efficient. So they've been testing out certain woks that don't need to be physically flipped and can be preparing food in bigger batches. And then these clamshell grills, which cook food in half the time. So if the woks, automatically can flip over, other pieces of the grills that can make things have more space. Obviously, that's going to improve efficiency and hopefully allowing employees to spend less time actively cooking in a hot kitchen is the underlying goal that they're trying to solve here. They also installed high capacity shelving in their dining room so that they can save time for their employees who are taking extra steps to get the grabbing the takeout orders. They can just put them on the shelves for people to pick up, which I know they do at other fast casual restaurants like Sweet Green. They do that there, Tate. And then other fast casual and chains are looking to upgrade their technology as well with different POS systems, voice recognition software at drive-throughs, which again, I know it's drive-through, but still maybe the same technology can be applied other places in the restaurant industry. And it's just making lives easier and the routines easier and hopefully less physically and mentally draining as to reduce burnout. So I thought that was interesting ways to use technology that I personally hadn't really heard about yet, doing so in a restaurant before. But the article also talks about sound, heat, and architectural changes that could make things more comfortable for workers. So Underbelly Hospitality Group, which has 7 restaurant concepts around Texas, they made some major restaurant updates lately at one of their restaurant locations called UB Preserve. And this was all on behalf of the employees' benefit because of some complaints that employees were saying. They were saying that it was getting really, really loud in the dining room and it was really, really difficult to hear customers sometimes, made it challenging to do their jobs. So the owner made the decision to close down UB Preserve for 5 days in order to noise dampen the dining room for the servers. And then he also added insulation so that the room would stay a cooler temperature. So this was entirely on behalf of the fact that the restaurant employees were saying it was challenging. So this owner took it into his hands to make these changes. So they essentially ripped out the entire kitchen ceiling and replaced it so that it wouldn't be hot, which obviously is expensive, just like it would sound. $25,000, they said, but he was saying how right now owners are kind of arguing that maybe investing in these big upgrades, even though they're expensive, and obviously maybe not everyone's going to have the money for it, but it's really paying off in the long run because they're seeing employee happiness. It's all for making the working conditions better. Just adding air conditioning and reworking the sound system had an immediate impact, the specific owner said, for his restaurant. So I thought that was interesting.
It is. And also because of the labor shortage, I feel like if you're making it this nice for people to work in your environment, which is similar to what the Danny Meyer philosophy is, I feel like you'll win the employees rather than them going somewhere else. Maybe they'll come to you, which right now I think a lot of restaurants need, whether fast casual or fine dining. There's definitely a shortage there. So that might help.
Yeah,
sure.
Definitely. Some other elements that can be added into restaurant structures that were discussed in this article: anti-fatigue mats that are designed to prevent foot and back pain in the kitchen workers who would otherwise be, standing on concrete flooring. A lot of restaurants.
We had them. We had them at a bar. The last bar I worked at, we had them behind the bar because we were on our feet so much, running back and forth, that they put them behind the bar. So also an idea.
Did you like them? Did you like them there?
I did. I thought they made a difference. I honestly thought they made a big difference. I didn't have to wear I always wear comfortable shoes, but my feet definitely didn't hurt as much at the end of the night. So yeah, they definitely worked.
I know, because some people said they really liked them. Other people were saying they weren't positive. I don't know. Someone said that maybe they slipped on something, or it was just uncomfortable. I don't know. I think the con argument was just maybe the look of it, but people are like, okay, we're looking for the comfort of employees, but
right. You can't really see it either. Like, it's on the floor. So as long as it's behind a bar or behind a kitchen line, I feel like customers not going to see it anyway. But yeah, right. I know what you're saying.
So I don't know, maybe there's a place out there for some company out there to, go more into the flooring material industry.
Yeah.
Yeah. A market for it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the last thing that this article was mentioning was changes to scheduling. So Jason Berry, who was the co-founder of Need Hospitality and Design, was looking to pilot a 4-day work week for salaried employees, which for their hospitality group included assistant managers, sous chefs, and executive sous chefs, who would get this salaried 4-day work week, sorry. And they would still be working their 12 hours a day, but they could do their admin work at home. And so, trying to spend less time in the restaurant if that's possible, to break down their weeks, make it a little bit easier on them, their commuting. And then also, again, everyone's trying to do this right now, but trying to hire more hourly workers in order to keep a larger staff so that they could have more coverage across the board, and then hopefully less burnout in that regard as well. So I know it's like everyone wants all the employees right now. I don't know. No one's getting them.
No, they're not. They're there, but they're not there at the same time. It's so hard. It's such a weird time for the industry. And I just feel like 12-hour shifts inside a restaurant doesn't sound as appealing to a lot of people as it used to sound.
Yeah.
I loved my 12-hour work shifts in the restaurant, but I don't think that I'm the majority there. So yeah. And they get old quick too. It's like, you think about them now and I'm like, oh, I would go to a restaurant from 8 to 8 and, do like the admin work in the morning and hold like a manager's meeting and then, help with like setup and all that stuff. And then the actual dinner rush, or if you do lunch, like lunch rush and then dinner, and then all of the manager things that you do at the end of the night. But it's fun in some ways, but then it's very tiring. And now I have 2 children, so I probably don't want to ever do that again.
You don't have the same energy.
I wait on them hand and foot 12 hours a day. So yeah.
You're a server in your own home.
I actually thought of that literally last night. My daughter was like, she's 2. So, she wants like one snack and then doesn't finish it and then wants another snack and then is like, ugh, I don't like this. And then wants like apple juice. And I give her and I'm like, I am literally her servant. Like, I'm her server at a restaurant. I am not servant. That wasn't the right term. Server, like just running back and forth from the kitchen to the front of the house, grabbing her snacks. And then once in a while, my son will ask for something. So yeah, it's definitely similar. Maybe that's what prepared me for being a mom.
That's actually so funny. You really still do work in the restaurant industry.
I do. I go to the kitchen and then I go to like the host stand and
The restaurant
go.
is called the Kennedy household.
It really is. And meanwhile, my husband asked for something. I mean, it's just, yeah, nonstop over here, nonstop. But anywho, let's talk about something else. So this next topic was something that I thought was kind of interesting. It's a multi-brand ghost kitchen. So Inspire Brands, which owns quick service favorites like Arby's, Dunkin' Donuts, Jimmy John's, Buffalo Wild Wings, Sonic, and Rusty Taco, which I've never heard of. Have you ever heard of Rusty Taco? It must be in a different part of the country. Right? Yeah.
I've heard of, I know all the other ones, obviously.
I do too. Yeah, very well. Not Rusty Taco, but I'm going to look out for one. So they're opening the nation's first multi-branded ghost kitchen. And the new concept is going to be called Alliance Kitchen. And it will open in their hometown of Atlanta very soon, TBD. Not sure yet. But I thought it was a really cool idea. So under one roof, customers will be able to order off of the menus from all of their brands, except for Dunkin', which would be a bummer if they weren't planning to offer free Dunkin' coffee to all visitors. So even better than the Dunkin' menu would be free Dunkin' Donuts coffee to everyone. Because obviously, who wouldn't want a Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee with their RB curly fries and Sonic burger? I mean, come on. It's like perfect match. I don't know about that, but it doesn't sound that bad. So I think not only are ghost kitchens still a hot trend in the industry, I think this new concept will also allow them to operate with a smaller staff, which is obviously really important right now. We just talked about it. So actually this article said that in fact, they'll be able to operate with about 54% less than their normal staff for a one brand brick and mortar. So 54% less staff, which is amazing. And you're not just operating one brand, you're operating all of them. And then of course, it will also lower equipment costs and square footage, which is plus and plus there too. And I think this is a fantastic concept for a time when the industry is struggling to fill jobs and obtain the space and equipment necessary to put the orders out. So obviously, kudos for them for doing this now. And then also it mentioned some other perks that they'll be using the space to test out new menu items and also different ideas not on the menu. So for instance, heated food storage lockers for third-party delivery drivers, which I think is very interesting. Also for third-party delivery drivers, they really love them. They're going to do a lounge so that they don't have to wait in the restaurant space, which is helpful to the delivery drivers, but it also is helpful to the restaurant because sometimes it just doesn't look good when there's people milling around, not eating and not doing anything else. And they're also thinking they're going to test out phone charging stations for all customers, which is an interesting idea for a fast casual concept. And I really do love this idea. And I think it has legs, especially in this climate. So I really am wondering if it takes off, which brand will be next. We need to predict the future. I don't know, but there's a few that I'm kind of hoping, for instance, Yum Brands, which if you don't know, owns KFC, Pizza Hut, and Taco Bell and Wing Street. So if you could get all of those under one roof, that would be pretty amazing. Or maybe for a more fast casual and not quick service vibe would be Bloomin' Brands, which at Triple Seat we know and love very much. And that would be Outback, Carrabba's. Did I say that right? I always feel like I say that wrong.
Sounds right.
Carrabba's, Bonefish Grill, and Fleming's. So it's definitely not a horrible way to spend your afternoon if you're going to a ghost kitchen with all of those brands under one roof. Yeah, I think this is a cool idea.
I think this is really cool.
Companies. Yeah, right?
It's like a buffet with a bunch of different restaurants. That's how I'm picturing it in my mind. It's you can go, you get a little bit of each if you want to.
Exactly. And it is like that because it's not in my mind, I was originally being is this going to be a food court with all these different order for one place, but it's not. There's a central ordering place. And then there'll be, line cooks that make the French, for just an example, I don't know if this is actually it, but the French fries for all of the brands will be made under one area. And then another area will be the sandwiches, but it will all be combined. So it, I think that this probably is because of space and, in the workflow, but it's also kind of cool that it's not separated. So you're not going to individual areas. It's all together.
Right.
Which is pretty neat. I wish they would do this for retail, Target, Home Goods, Marshalls. What else?
Of course you would say that.
Starbucks, of course, which I realize isn't exactly retail, but that's fine. Yeah, what else? I don't
Now
know.
you'll
All my
never,
favorites under one roof.
and then maybe they'll actually be next to each other so you can get your food and then you can go shopping afterwards.
Yep. Yep. My favorite thing ever, and this is so lame and really off topic, but that's fine, is like when like this, it's like this near me. Like I can go to Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Aldi, Home Goods, and Target.
It's
Like,
intentional.
oh my God. Like it's amazing. It's the best idea ever. There's no restaurant, so it's kind of strange. But anywho, I just get there's a Starbucks obviously in Target, so that's helpful. But yeah, I'm like, this is the best. I don't have to go very far to
Right.
get everything I need.
Oh, I love this
Definitely
idea.
intentional. You're right. I do work in marketing, so I should know it's intentional, but also it makes me happy. So
Yeah. So look out for ghost kitchens coming in other forms like
Yeah.
ghost malls and ghost
Ghost malls.
shopping experiences.
which is literally just a mall.
Yeah. With like the 2 employees that work in the store. But I think this is funny too. It's like, I try to eat healthy in general, but if I'm going to have fast food, in this case, maybe I'm hungover, I'm coming after a night of drinking, I want some greasy food, your friends can't decide what place you want to go to. So you could just go to the ghost kitchen and I could get the Buffalo Wild Wings. My friends can get Arby's or Jimmy John's, whatever they're feeling, whatever their hungover food of choice is. And it's so convenient.
Brilliant. And you say like you and your friends, but I'm sorry, haven't you ever been so hungover that you're like, oh man, I
need everything.
I really want the fries from Arby's, but I also want a burger from Sonic, and then I also want like wings from Just get them all.
Wow. I'm liking this more and more. And
right?
Too bad it's going to Atlanta and not to Boston.
Well, we do have employees in Atlanta, so maybe we can go visit them and check it out. But yeah, and it's not open yet. TBD. Every time I say TBD, it reminds me of the episode of The Office when when Michael says that Ryan's new website will be up TBD.
TBD.
And every time I say it, I'm like TBD, to be determined.
Good one.
Anyway, sorry. That's where my mind goes.
All right. Well, we love that article. Great job, Kate.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then the last one we have, back to event industry, as we're heading into the event season for the holidays and into the 2022, just some things to keep in mind when you're planning events for this, there's always just unpredictable things happening and how to manage those client expectations. So we have this interesting Biz Bash article that gives some tips from other event planners and producers across the country about managing client expectations when planning events. So the first piece of advice they give is do not sugarcoat any issues. Take the time to thoroughly communicate challenges that you may be facing right now. So if you're not able to deliver exactly what your client's asking for whatever reason, staffing, inventory shortages, you have an overbooked calendar, technology, just be clear about this and explain. I feel like it's better to not sugarcoat because you don't want to be caught in a lie or just be realistic to what's happening right now. And also people are aware of what's happening right now, unless they live under a rock. They should be. They should be. We said this, they should be. But just be clear about what the issues are. Don't try to sugarcoat it, but then also be able to present 2 to 3 alternatives to the guests that will enable them to achieve the same exact result. Many customers will be understanding and also appreciate the alternative out of the box solutions that you hopefully are able to provide to them. So that's the first piece of advice. The second piece of advice is to start managing expectations during your very first interaction with the client. So it's going to be much easier to set expectations about what's possible right away to your client before they bring in their whole list of hopes and dreams and then having to backtrack and explain, this isn't really realistic in our kind of thing.
One by one.
Yeah. Crush them, break their hearts. We don't want that. So one of the examples from this piece of advice, one company that owns a stationery and invitation design company in the event industry says that they tend to record and share 2-minute videos every 2 weeks, explaining to clients the status of any shipping or material delays, which I feel like in that area is kind of interesting, working with, timelines, shipments, if you're involved in that at all for materials that you may be needing for your planning. And just, I don't know, I feel like
I was just going to say that's like above and beyond. I'm kind of blown away by that.
I know.
Really right?
I feel like that's something that like any vendors listening or just like vendors that you work with could be doing, because anyone who's having shipment delays, I feel like you'll look on sometimes their website where they're talking about it. Maybe they post something like at the top, like a pop-up that's like, oh, we're behind on this, or at least I was seeing that mid-pandemic, but just going above and beyond to like make it clear what your timelines are looking like right now. I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
Another event planner was saying that she was constantly making sure that her website was up to date with pricing in order to set cost expectations, including delivery and setup fees, and that it was easier to put this on the website opposed to reading it over the phone to clients. It's easier for them to read that way. And then I think also important is to make sure that you're setting expectations around COVID vaccine cards and COVID testing before events, and that you communicate that in advance and make sure that people are aware of that too, because as you cross, state boundaries, the rules are going to change based on where you are. Some places require vaccine cards upon entry to restaurants, like in New York City for most part. But then here in Boston, they aren't doing that yet. I'm pretty sure I saw that Los Angeles just started requiring it for their restaurants too.
Yeah, I saw that too.
So it's just kind of interesting. It's, you could be traveling for an event and have no idea what the rules are like there. So obviously it's best to be prepared, but if you're on the organizer side of the event, making sure that you're making the expectations clear right from the start too. So you want to make sure that your client who's booking with you knows, okay, these are going to be the vaccine or non-vaccine requirements for all of your guests that are coming to this event. So
yeah,
I thought that was a good one. And then
it is.
Last two, I'm not going to read them all from this article. There was 9 tips, but the third one was just simple. Always have a detailed backup plan or 4, and that plans B, C, D, and E should also be as appealing as plan A. And make sure that you're prepared to pivot quickly if there's anything that needs to change. Have all these backup plans in your pocket. And then lastly, hone in on what is most important to your clients. So when you're talking to your clients, encourage them to clearly define their event's main goals and priorities, and just make sure you understand what they want and need the most and what's kind of just a nice to have component. So due to just different shortages and supply chain issues, as I was talking about before, it's going to be helpful for you as the planner to know what's most important to clients in order for you to make any quick decisions if something were to come up. So just make sure that you know what your client's feeling, what's most important and valuable for this event to them, so that you can make those decisions if you have to make split decisions without them. And then we'll link the article so you can read all the other tips as well, because there are some good ones, and good luck planning all those events.
Get those holiday calendars filled up with events, and into 2022, of course. But yeah, those are some good some good advice. I'm like still blown away by the company's like videos. Right. I don't know why. I'm just like, wow, that's like, you're really putting an extra step. Like you're making it easier for your clients, which is the way it should be, but it's a lot of work. So it's admirable for sure. And I hope every video isn't just like, sorry, your invitations are on a ship in the middle of the ocean coming from China, which is literally where everything is right now.
I'm going to go watch them.
Yeah. If you track things right now, it's like, like everything's literally in the middle of the ocean, like coming from China. I'm like, oh my God, just what is
Sounds happening? Like someone has a shopping problem.
Oh, clearly. But I think those of you out there who listened to our podcast before already know that, especially since I just talked about all my favorite stores in like one block. But anyways, moving on. So I think that's all we have for you guys today, but thank you all so much for listening to this episode. And of course, we hope you enjoyed hearing about a few industry news bits and trends. And as always, if there's any topic regarding the hospitality and events industry that you would like us to talk about, send us an email at 2chicks3seats@tripleseat.com, and we will definitely look at it. And also, I want to add that we're always looking for people in the industry, whether you're a restaurant owner or an event manager, or you just really like to talk about the hospitality industry. We don't care. If you want to be on the podcast, we'll definitely, reach back out and talk about what you'd like to talk about. And if it works out, it works out. So, reach out that way as well. You can email us, like I said before, and always remember to tune in every Friday for the most recent episode of 2 Chicks, 3 Seats. Thanks, everyone.